In the previous video, we discussed about the displacement of the last Nawab of the Wajid Ali Sahib from the Awadh. Now, we should know with the displacement of the Nawab Wajid Ali Sahib, there was the displacement of the Talukdars of the Awadh area. We can see that in Awadh area, there were many Talukdars. Those Talukdars were displaced by Britishers after the displacement of the Wajid Ali Sahib. So, displacement of Talukdars after the displacement of Wajid Ali Sahib. The annexation of Awadh displaced not only the Nawab but also the Talukdars. The countryside of the Awadh had many estates and forts of the Talukdars. There were many estates and forts of the Talukdars in rural area of the Awadh. They had held power for generations. Under the Nawab, the Talukdars had enjoyed a fair degree of autonomy as long as they accepted the suzerainty of the Nawab. So they felt very authoritative and free in the time of the Nawab. They paid revenue of their talukas to the British. Many talukdars had armies of about 12,000 foot soldiers, and even the small ones had army of about 200 soldiers. So some talukdars were having 200 soldiers, some have 12,000 soldiers. So there were some small talukdars and some were very big talukdars. The British did not tolerate the power of the talukdars. They were annexed, disarmed, and their best forts were destroyed. The British land revenue policy reduced their power. After destroying their forts, they reduced their power. They introduced the Assembly settlement in 1856. It was based on the idea that Talukdars had acquired the land by force and fraud, thus had no permanent right over the land. So land should be taken from the Talukdars. They removed them from the power. For example, in the pre-British times, Talukdars held 67% of the total number of villages in Awadh. After the introduction of Assembly settlement, this number reduced to mere 38%. So many talukdars were removed from their power. By removing them, the British thought they will settle the land with the owners of the soils. They wanted to reduce exploitation done to the peasants, but exploitation was not stopped. They wanted to increase the revenue returns to the state. In actual practice, this did not happen, although the revenue increased. Revenue was not decreased. The burden on the peasant did not reduce, but burden was increased. Officials soon found out that there was increase in revenue rates from 30 to 70%, and a large area of the Awadh was heavily overassessed. So there was the overassessment of the revenue also. Revenue was also increased 30 to 70%. So there was burden on the peasants. So there was no welfare of the peasants. With the removal of the talukdars, the peasants were directly exposed to the harass revenue policies of the British. They could no longer avail loans in times of hardships or if crop failure. There was no means by which the payment of revenue could be postponed upon failure of the crop or other unforeseen situation. That ties of loyalty that ties of loyalty sorry that ties of loyalty and patronage had bound the peasants to the talukdar, but it was disrupted. This system was disrupted. Talukdars provided patronage. They could provide a loan facility in the time of the hardship. If a crop was failure, if any type of hardship occurred with the peasants, so there was a good bonding between talukdars and peasants. Talukdars supported in the hard time to the peasants. But under the British system, there was no such provision for the farmers. There was no arrangement by which they could postpone the revenue when crop is failure. The revenue dues and used, there were British overassessed the revenue dues and used inflexible method of collection. They give no relaxation in revenue collection. So this was the exploitation of the peasantry in our area. We should know relation between the white and Indian officers. Prior to the uprising of 1857, the relationship between the white and Indian officers was cordial. The former were well versed in Hindustani, fenced and wrestled with their Indian counterparts and often went out hawking with them, and were thus disciplinarian and father figure rolled into ones. In 1840, this relationship underwent a drastic change, with the British officers considering their Indian Sipais as racially inferior and riding roughshod over their sensibilities. So, this is the starting of racial discrimination in army by the British officers. Close links between the peasants and Sipais. The grievances of the peasants were also discussed within Sipais lines, as most of the soldiers were recruited from the peasantry area. It has been said that Awadh was called the nursery of the Bengal army. It means in Bengal army most of the soldiers were from the Awadh area. If peasants were tortured in Awadh area, the message was given by their family through those soldiers, and there was dissatisfaction against the colonial government. The Sipais also complained about the difficulty of the getting leave, misbehavior and racial abuse of their white officers. Thus their discontent spilled over into the ranks peasantry. When the Sipais took up arms, they were coined by peasants. So when Sipais started armed rebellion against the Britishers, peasants also started rebellion. In this way, we can see a big rebellion took place in our country with the coordination of Sipais and peasantry. Thank you.